Okay, Dan, where did you spend your early life?
In Vienna,
Yes, where did you spend your early life?
I spent my early life, early, that's up to the age of 20, of 12. 12.
Start again. Okay, let's start again. Where did you spend your early life?
Where? In Vienna. Going on vacations in summertime, going to Italy or Hungary, Budapest, the vicinity. Yes. The first years I've explained already before, until 6, normal life with a nanny, go here, go there, go to the cinema, go to the Luna Park. I had a good life. In winter we went skiing to Tyrol. My late father was a good skier, and I became a good skier. And my sister was a queen in skiing. So we went to St. Johann in Tyrol and other places, mainly in Tyrol, because there was the best snow. Sports and so on, friends, hiking. I had a good life until the age of 6, when I went to school. School was very near where we lived. Was also good. Sports interested me most, and this I had. I even learned fencing, which was in a monastery very near our house. They had a fencing school. And I was good at fencing. And I think if I had carried on with it, I would have reached the Olympics. But this was all before the age of 10, 12. I was 12 when the Nazis came in, and all the fun ended. Nothing was funny anymore. So my parents, who were actually never active in Zionist activity, suddenly saw that this was the last chance, because you couldn't go anywhere else. You wanted to go to America, you needed an affidavit. You wanted to go to France, you needed a visa. It was impossible, because it was already overcrowded, and those who left fast already went away. So suddenly we had the option of joining the illegal immigration. So we joined it. I will have partly to repeat what I said before, but to keep the connection alive. So my father had 3 sisters and 2 brothers who lived in a big flat near the cinema which we had. There were many aunts, but I had no proper relation with them, because there was a very great age difference. Because my parents were 40 when I was born. So I had elderly parents and old aunts and uncles. So for them, I just had to follow orders to sit still and not to drop this and not to go where. I looked for friendship somewhere else. It was not on purpose, it was the normal situation of elderly people who don't know to handle kids, and especially kids who were devils like I was. I was not easy to handle. But as with my parents, we moved in summers to places like Velden am Wörthersee on the lake, and I even had hired a boat which I drove, and with my sister and I did water skiing and diving into the water. There was a diving tower with the highest point was 10, and then there was 4 meters, and then the lower board to jump from. Well, also my sister liked sports, and we painted the town red.
What were some of your experiences with sensing the change in Austria as the Nazis came in 1938? But I'm sure that even prior to that, there was...
Then I was already 12.
Mm-hmm.
I understood it. I absorbed it, and I had a lot of fights because I was the type who liked to show his fists. So if at school somebody insulted me or something, he got it, and I was punished. I had to write reports and so on, as schools are. Schools are intended to have quiet children and listen to the teacher. And I listened to the teacher, but I punched around when there was an opportunity. And actually, I waited to be called names so that I could show my expertise in this field, because I learned boxing. I had got boxing lessons, judo lessons, close contact. My sister, my mother, a Jewish mother who is normally soft around the kids, they taught me the trade, which helped me to survive. I think there were cases where it really helped to survive. I cannot exactly name it, but I knew I was near it.
How did your parents react at the same time, and what motivated them to make that move towards Eretz Israel?
Well, we were in hired flats. We had 3 flats hired, combined into one, because there was also stuff. There was the cook, there was a nanny, there was a helping hand. There was a crew in this house that worked, and suddenly we had no money. And when my father told them, "I'm sorry, I cannot keep you anymore. They took my money. We have to leave." So they said, "Don't worry, we shall find other places of work, and we shall feed you There were very good relations with them. It was like a big family. Actually, I felt towards them as if they were my aunts, my uncles, we had very good relations. So luckily they found work very fast and came back to sleep in their rooms and so on, and they kept us afloat until by December 39. That was I forgot to mention the pogrom of November, the November pogrom of 10th of November 38.
Kristalnacht.
Kristalnacht. Is it in English also called Kristalnacht?
Kristalnacht, I think, is the way it's referred to.
I think so, yes. So a big knock at the door, Kristalnacht. It was already in the morning, around 10 o'clock. Banging at the door. My father goes to the door. They said, "You are to leave this flat within half an hour. You can take a little suitcase with you and with belongings, but you must leave." So my father says, "And where could we go?" "This is not of our concern," they said. So we decided we go to our aunts, who we found out were not disturbed at their place. So we took a taxi and drove to them, quietly moved into their flat, which was one but big flat, and we stood there with them, quietly, undisturbed, for a few days, until my sister, who was by that time around 20 years of age, went to the hiring company where our flats were hired from, and said, "We were thrown out. Our furniture is still inside. The people who worked with us are still living there. Can we go back?" So the hiring, the firm that did rent away those flats, said, "Of course, you paid on time, and you can move back." So we quietly moved back into our flat, and this is how the November pogrom ended. And we were back, but we knew we had to stay very, very quiet, because there were neighbors who had other ideas. We didn't find out we had good relations with the neighbors, but who knows who is going to denounce us or tell the Nazis that we're back again. Anyhow, we were back again, and our ex-staff of the house helped us to survive until December 39. That means a year. December 39, we moved to Slovakia. And apart from Slovakia, Danube, through Turkey, Dodecanese, to Israel, to Palestine then. This I told you in the former part.
So, since you already gave the story of the experience on the Patria and the 3 ships, etc., let's skip forward a little bit. Where were you taken after the Patria sank, and how did the British treat you? You said that they received you with tea, but after you were in Eretz Israel, in the land of Israel and Palestine, how did the British treat you then?
Yes. Well, from the moment we got into the detention camp of Atlit, we were well fed. We had schools. Children went to school. Good school, because with us, all the good professors, the Jewish professors who were kicked out of the schools in Vienna, were with us. So they had more patience with us, with the pupils. Actually, we liked going to school. There was a great difference. We wanted to learn. And when the professor said, there's going to be an intermission soon, we'll take a break, so we said, no, carry on, carry on. Children asking to have overtime of tuition. It was very good. They were very friendly with us. Contrary to the school, the gymnasium, Real Gymnasium, where I had the last 2 years, they tried only to prove how little we know. And here, suddenly, they gave us material which was interesting. Geography, history, but they used to give it lively. It was under tension of wanting to know. And of course there was lots of sports in Slovakia, for instance, or even Atlit, where there were British police. We were treated well. We were treated well by the police who handled Atlit camp. They allowed us everything, and what was wrong was the government's decisions. They were bad to us. And if I were British, I would appoint an inquiry commission to find out the decision-making process who was used when acting opposite us, the refugees who were wanting to join the army, fighting against the Germans, and yet the fact that they wanted to deport us to a devil's island was not a friendly gesture towards refugees from the German animals.
Let me stop just a second and I'll start another clip.